listening to A One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast that tells the stories of craft beer in Minnesota and beyond. So kick back, relax, and grab a cold one. This show starts now. Hello, my name is Dan Bobian, and I write, produce, and host A One Pint Stand. I am ecstatic that you are listening. This podcast has been a passion project of mine since 2016. This particular episode features a visit with my friends down at Wabasha Brewing Company on the west side of St. Paul. Wabasha is celebrating 8 years of serving their Wabasha neighborhood and being a neighborhood hotspot for craft beer since 2014. Lately, they have been making some changes in their brew house, with Brett Erickson stepping back from head brewer and stepping into a new innovative role with the company. He is handing over the proverbial mash paddle to Kabel Lefto, who is formerly of Lakes and Legends and is now the head brewer there. And we talked all about... we talked about a myriad of topics, from what's going to change at the brewery, where they want to go, all the way to Kabel's first beer. Well, not his first beer, but his first recipe brewed at Wabasha that actually releases today, which is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. It is a cold IPA called Be Here Now. And we got a little sneak peek, and it's really good. So I'm excited to hear what people say when they have it on tap. So enough of me just talking to you solo. Let's head on down to the west side of St. Paul for my interview with Jason, Brett, and Kabel. Cheers. Here we are, down here in the west side of St. Paul at Wabasha Brewing Company. My name is Dan Bobian, and this is another on-location episode of A One Pint Stand. And I'm joined with three of my favorite beer people. But then they had to cancel, so now we're not.
Stuck with us.
We're here. We've got Brett Erickson and Jason Vastine and Kabel Lefto here at Wabasha Brewing. So, guys, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy afternoons to have me down to talk beer.
Thanks for having us.
Now, fun fact. You are the second most featured brewery on A One Pint Stand. This is episode number 3 that we've recorded here. And so, I thought that was kind of cool.
I'm guessing we're only beat out by Lutheran?
Yeah, probably. That was the, they're the second, they're the first one. Well, since I go up there every year for Big Beer Week.
You struck a chord.
Well, you probably don't know about this.
I do.
Battle of the Beers, Dan drank, sat with the Dual Citizen crew and drank their beer, and Lupulin caught on.
Well, not only did they catch on, they were there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that we were competing against them. And when I walked in, they were like, they thought I was there to join their table. They're like, "Hey, Dan, over here." And I'm like, I'm actually already have a spot over here. And it was, this is the sad thing is that, so it was a competition to kill the keg. And so Lupulin was pouring their Tropical Fun Pants, which is a fruited, sour blonde ale. And Dual Citizen had their elbow bender Kolsch, which is if you're going to chug a beer, that is very easy to chug. And so they started and they're pouring, we're going, and it was pretty close. And Lupulin lost by 3.5 pints, and that was the exact amount of Kolsch that I drank. And we went up there about a week later, and they were still a little salty about the whole thing. And every time I went up to the bar to order a beer, they just handed me NA Tropical Fun Pants. They're like, "Here you go." And I'm like, "I wanted a stout."
So I didn't hear that much detail about the NA across the bar.
Yeah, it was.
I to reach that level of petty.
It was pretty epic. So, yeah. So we're here. Hopefully, I leave in good graces and I can still come back and order.
The fire started.
Order off the menu, but you never know. So I wanted to come down. Obviously, I always love coming down here to talk beer with you all. But recently, there has been a little bit of a kind of a shift in role here at the brew house. So do you want to kind of tell the listeners kind of what has kind of what happened and maybe the why behind the changing in roles and how people's roles have shifted?
Yeah, I guess so. You want me to start?
That's you. That's all you.
Me. This is all me.
Brett,
So-
tell the tale.
Brett's going to tell the tale.
Brett's going to tell us.
So I decided to step down as head brewer and pass on the torch, if you will.
Metaphorical mash paddle.
Yeah, metaphorical mash paddle.
And the real mash paddle, too.
As most people that are listening, they realize that the brewing industry is kind of a young man's game. I've been in this for a long time, and my body kind of started to just give it to me. My knees weren't having it, and so I kind of decided to step down and hand it over to someone else, and Kabel won the trophy.
Yeah. All right.
And by step down, he means he's the executive brewer now. So
Yeah.
he's like the head chef that doesn't cook any food.
Yeah, so
I don't know
no,
if that exists.
I just kind of show up and tell people that they're doing stuff wrong.
Comes to the brew house with those little tongs to adjust the microgreens and okay.
I recognize the difference between old dirt and new dirt.
Nice. So when you made the decision to kind of change, what were you looking for? I mean, I think it's this place is a unique spot in the sense that it very much caters to the local. It's hyper local. Regulars are coming through. What did you have like a certain? Did you want to? I mean, you have a certain vibe about you, Brett. And I mean that as a good thing.
Okay, good. Good.
But you're laid back, but also you know what you want. And so were you looking, as you were kind of talking about like what type of person you were going to bring in? Did you want someone kind of a similar mindset, or were you thinking that maybe we want to shake things up and look for somebody who maybe has a different skill set? Kind of what was your thought process behind starting the search?
My thought process going forward, looking for someone, is we weren't looking for someone that necessarily fit all the categories of like, they've gone to school, they've done it at this brewery. We wanted more of an artist. We wanted more of someone can think outside the box. We've said it 1,000 times. This is a little bit different kind of brewery. We want people to come here because of what we're creating, not because of what everyone else is creating and we're rinse and repeating.
Yeah.
So in all actuality, we're looking for more of an artist and more of a do-it-yourselfer. Someone who's going to come in and take over and not really have to worry about, I guess.
So you weren't looking for somebody, because I mean, when you say somebody to come in and take over, self-starter, artist, I'm thinking those qualifications to me equal a lot of industry experience and maybe a lot of different industry roles.
Yeah.
Was that kind of part of the idea behind it too?
Yeah,
I kind of add to it, exactly. So I think, Brett, 8 years, 2013, start, 10 years basically.
Yeah.
Like you said, like that's a long time, founding brewer, now executive brewer. That's your official title, by the way. So in that sense, we wanted to take what's built, and the same, like we sat down in November 2021, right? And there was this raw material. We acquired the brewery in flight. We've got awesome vibes. How do we continue that legacy on, really, and hand that baton over? So it becomes a search too, like we had that like really dichotomy too, where Brett's looking for certain traits, I'm looking for certain traits, and how do we combine those two things? So I look at like the way of thinking, like you say an artist, and like we got to have somebody that's able to constructively look at the issues that present themselves within a small brewery. Everybody's got to wear, how many hats do you wear? 5?
How many titles go into
5?
into a production space? Because I have all of those titles.
So 7.
3,000.
Yeah, at least 3,000 times.
And it's hard work. It's very hard work, and that's not to gild the lily at all. I think which happens sometimes. Like it's this sunshine and roses. We're in the beer industry, but like this is hard work, and so we need somebody that is capable of wearing those hats. And Kabel fits a lot of those bills. He's worked front of house. He's come up through coffee. He came up through beer. He's been a brewer, and I was looking for somebody that's on that ascent. And so there's just a paper written about this, but there's a lot of burnout in the brewing industry. And so if there's something out there, like we want to find somebody that's growing, maybe looking for that first head brewer role that is somebody that's ready to run through a brick wall to brew some of the best beer in the state of Minnesota.
I've actually seen Kabel run through a brick wall.
And two,
I had to get it once because I tried it when I was in second grade and it knocked me out.
and to Jason's point as well, like we weren't looking for someone that necessarily was maybe burnt out somewhere else and thought by maybe making a change that then they could come in here and do that. We were looking for someone who's ready to take the next step.
Yeah.
So ultimately, kind of when we went into this process, we were kind of looking for an assistant brewer who's ready to go to the next level. And we were willing to kind of take that journey with that person.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, and I was blown away by like the candidates to step forward for the role. Like I was really like super humbling process, and like it was astounding to go through it because like there is a ton of talent out there in the brewing community and people that are out there looking, and I think it's just a testament to ultimately why we chose Kabel, because the guy is he's a scientific thinker. He loves beer. He loves people. He works as a team. He's been part of a team that's worked hard at another brewery to I'd say turn things around. It's like, all right, all that experience adds up to like what we ultimately want to create here as an experience that really makes a difference in the beer community and what you want to brew too, like that creative passion, where sometimes that physicality, I think, of the roles takes away from like the creative abilities of a brewer. This guy's got the creative passion, I think, to really take us to the next level too.
Okay.
Kabel, you have been at Lakes and Legends for
I don't brew beer anymore.
several
2.5 years.
2.5 years, yeah. And as they kind of alluded to earlier, you had played a pretty key role in
turning the beers around at that place.
and making it more, really kind of eliminating a lot of the issues with quality that existed before you. And they also had a lot of turnover. And then, you were there, and then Kyle came in, and I can only imagine, and we talked about this on a previous podcast, but, you really sang a lot of his praises and you mentioned a lot of the different things that he taught you. As you're sitting there thinking about your career, what was it that appealed to you about Wabasha Brewing's head brewing position, and like what kind of made you like, I feel like I'm ready to kind of assume that? Because like we mentioned earlier, a head brewer they're not just brewing. They're doing a lot, especially on the size and scale that Wabasha is. It's kind of all hands on deck. So, do you want to
move
talk?
kegs to the tap room.
Yeah,
everybody does it.
It's not just like you're up there like creating recipes and spraying people and things with the hose. What was it about Wabasha that kind of appealed to you?
Well, just note, I would be spraying people with the hose if there was more than just Jason visiting me up there on a regular basis. But
Summertime's here.
a lot of the appeal came from, I spent 4.5 years at Urban Growler in various different roles. Spent 2.5 years brewing at Lakes and Legends, working from the assistant brewer all the way up to the lead brewer. And really it started to hit a point at Lakes and Legends where I had felt I had done everything I could do there. And it was becoming that you're just going through the motions. You're doing that. Like, it was the next logical step would be moving into a head brewer role or like a production manager or something of that nature. So I started keeping an eye out. Had been to Wabasha a few times, saw the ad pop up for a head brewer, and went, why not? like start throwing my hat in the ring on these things. Let's see what happens. And then I got the job.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, it turned into like here's a place where I can actually like I can start to flex a little more creativity because, you know, I wasn't the head brewer at Lakes and Legends, so I only got to do so many recipes, like, and we had a bigger system with a lot of distribution production, so it wasn't like we had all this room to be making these, you know, random beers that I got this itch to make that I thought would be really cool, because there just wasn't space.
Yeah.
We had to meet distribution schedule, we had to meet the one-offs for that. Then Kyle had to have his own room to flex his muscles in brewing and show his recipes off. So there really wasn't a lot of space for me to do much of anything. So like, that was the other appealing thing, is there was room. There was space for me to come in and go, well, here's all these ideas I have for beer. Let's just see if I'm just like a fucking blowhard and I'm just pulling shit out of thin air.
Why are you smiling so much, Dan?
Speaking of,
It's because I'm a little bit of a blowhard.
Check the. Speaking of blowhard, now's a good chance to talk about our sponsor. Fine folks.
Well, last time it was Hoover. Who's it this time?
Dan's Fan City.
Oh God.
That's a way back. That's like a place that was on Snelling in the 80s. It was a fan store, not what you think. Okay, so Kabel rolls into the interview.
Yes.
You sit down. I'm hoping he was wearing pants, and
I'm pretty sure I was.
you know you start talking beer. You know, we've all been in job interviews where it's like either you know kind of right away that okay, this might be a good fit, or you know right away it's like no, this is not our person. I want to hear from Brett and Jason first about kind of what was the initial what initially jumped out about Kabel that made you think that like okay, he would be a good fit for this.
So, a couple things, and this is funny, but first Brewers Guild meeting I went to after I came from, I'm an industry outsider, right? You know, like joining the brewing industry is
Although you do have a nice mustache now.
I grew the mustache.
So,
although I was told it isn't the right kind of facial hair to, you know, join the
If we were in Uptown, it'd be perfect, but we're in West St. Paul.
So I talked to Kabel at my first Brewers Guild meeting, and I don't know if he remembers.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. But it was really nice. I'm like, it was one of those things of like, okay, here's like the Brewers circle that all knows each other, and like Bob was there, and there's 3 or 4 brewers, and there's like kind of like the owners clique over here, and the owners like don't hang out with each other. The Brewers Guild meeting, like this is basically the brewers having fun. I'm like,
sounds like everything I hated about high school.
Yeah, I was just saying that is literally what the Brewers Guild meetings are. Sorry if I
spilled it behind the scenes, but this guy was just super friendly, like welcomed me in, like we had a great conversation about beer. I love beer, and so like that comes back to the interview process. Like I'm like, holy crap, this guy that I met. And then I like hear from Brett later on, like somebody called him, was like, so somebody's going to apply for the job, just so you know, referrals coming in before there's even a resume in the mail slot. There's referrals coming in.
Dan was the one who made that call before I even actually applied.
Loaded questions, Daniel. So then we sit down. I'm a very values-based interviewer.
Yeah, right.
We talked about blame. So that's very, very values-based interview process. We talk about every day, you know, we want love for people and love for beer, and the synthesis of those two things. We want to see teamwork. We want to see scientific thinking. And ultimately, we're here to create an experience that is about Minnesota beer and creating some of the best beer in Minnesota. And so straight up, like that's how I interview. I ask questions around that based on your experience, what we see on paper, and it's one of those walk away from the interview, but dude nailed it. And we talked a lot about beer, where we want to take things, what we're working on already, and the direction we want to head in the future. We can obviously get into those things today if we want to, but nailed it. So then I threw it over to this guy and be like, all right, check out his, I think I even told him, like, make sure he knows how to turn a wrench. Yeah. Is that fair? But no.
You use your toes,
like,
right?
Go, yeah. Like, we work in that dichotomy. Kabel said, like, I'm back there a lot in the brewery, and it's like, small joint. We got to figure out from the brewing side, like, let's scope out there. So, what'd you do?
My whole thing was kind of almost ultimately like the way he walked in. So we walked in, he was just kind of hanging out with people. Like, it wasn't an interview, and any of your listeners have been in interviews. Like, not only did we do the interview was then over, and then we just hung out and had beers. And, like, when I mean we hung out and had beers, we didn't have our beers. He brought beers with him.
That's right.
Smart.
I mean, who the fuck brings beers to a fucking job interview?
Well, they were beers I made, so
Yeah, this is why I left corporate America.
Well, that's kind of what I was gonna.
Here's my resume.
That's kind of
In a
what I was
can.
getting. Like, it was kind of like almost like, here's my resume, or record producer. Here's my demo.
Yeah.
It was kind of, but not like that at the same time. It was just like three guys hanging out. So.
just making you drink weird rice lagers that no one appreciated until it was almost gone.
Nice. That's really cool. So, now I think a lot of people, when there's a change, some people get a little freaked out. They're like, everybody has their favorite things, and obviously breweries, aside from like, the tap room staff that people are interacting with all the time when they're here, they know they have their favorite beers. So what does this kind of change mean for the beers? What can people expect?
For the most part, the schedule's kind of laid out, and then we're just gonna kind of field it in, so it'll gradually change or not change. I'm going to let Jason kind of handle this one because he's been handling the schedule more than I have. But,
sure.
Yeah, so like over the last year, like we threw a lot of shit at the wall. And we're like, all right, is this going to work?
Well, that would explain the aroma up in the brew house.
Kabel. So we did a lot of that. We went to market with cans aggressively, a broad variety of styles, and it was like, okay, what's going to work out there? What are some things that are we made an English dark mild that we put into cans. We're like, nobody's going to buy this, and it worked very well. Like, I was drinking some earlier tonight, so. I think that methodology was purposeful in the sense, like, we want a flagship out. We want to get more focused into our, like, can distribution moving forward. And in the meantime, in the tap room then as well, through that exposure we gained by, like, throwing shit out the wall in the can market, in the distribution market, that bought us a little bit of time where, like, tap lines came back available. This is, like, late 2021, right? Like, tap lines around St. Paul, Minneapolis were dead. They were at 20% of pre-COVID volumes. They're back at 75, 80%. This summer is going to be great. So we want to refocus around really two things. We want to create that like 4-pack focus of flagship beers. We've already started even with Brett here of like weaning down some of the beers that have been around for a longer period of time. And truly, we wanted to lager. We started lagering. We wanted to, play around in sours, but lagers are going to be a big part of the portfolio moving forward. We're trying to find a way within the capacity we have to be.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how do you're a 7-barrel.
If I could do it.
Brew house.
Yeah.
15-barrel brew house. Sorry.
Somewhere in there.
That's right. You guys expanded along the way. My notes are. I'm going to fire my secretary. That's unfortunate.
Come on, Dan.
Let's start over. Hashtag fake news. So you 15-barrel brew house. Not a ton of tank space back there.
3 10s and 2 7s.
Yeah. So lagering beers. What sort of a challenge does that present for all of you? Kabel at Lakes and Legends, there were plenty of tanks and plenty of space. So how do you work around that? How do you get creative?
It's a lot of the logistical thinking. It's how fast can I churn, like how fast can I churn an ale versus a lager. This beer doesn't have a dry hop, so I can definitely cut like 3 days out of the time on that, and just making sure that you're thinking like I try to make sure I'm thinking like 2 to 3 batches ahead so that I can sit there and go, all right, I know this is going to be in the tank for 2 weeks, and at the end of that 2 weeks, I need to have everything I need here to put another batch of beer in that tank the next day.
Yeah.
Like that end of that 2 weeks, everything should be in kegs or in cans and out of that tank and ready to go. So the next day you can just flip it right in.
Okay.
And to point blank answer your question, like West Side Popper's not going nowhere. Like when I say we're
That's
talking
what
about
I was
lagers,
building
like,
up to as like the thing that people really want to know.
Like those historical styles, like we're keeping those things around, but we want to participate in a lager game. You know, like there's a lot of space to explore in lager territory. There's amazing styles that we worked on over the last year. We had like 6 IPAs on the other day. That was a City Sin from a Wabasha terms. We had 3 hazies on. Like actually we have 3 hazies on right now. Oh shit.
Yeah, that'll go back down to like 2 soon.
So we want to find that clear IPA, that hazy IPA, those lagers, and then seasonals that we put out there in the market, and then through that focus, we get freedom too. Discipline equals freedom. So that's what we want to bring it back into like Spectrum over the next 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll never be able to get rid of West Side Popper. That will always have to be. It's part of your DNA here.
Yes.
Kind of what put us on the map.
Well, yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, and I mean the close proximity to so many good like things to eat, and that beer pairs so well with food and the patio. It's just a no-brainer to me. Kabel, I'm curious. You know, you mentioned earlier that at Lakes, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of freedom being a distribution brewery, I shouldn't say only a distribution brewery, but so leaning heavily into distribution and not having like a ton of like, well, we can't really do a bunch of small batch stuff. What are you most excited about to kind of like try? Do you have like some recipes that have been kind of kicking around in your head the last couple of years, or were there things that you created at Lakes that you kind of like, okay, I think this could play to the West Side crowd?
I have some beers that I am definitely interested in trying here. One of the first beers I did at Lakes was a pineapple blonde ale, where I basically made a blonde ale and then dry hopped it like you normally would a hazy IPA. So during active fermentation to get a lot of biotransformation and pull a lot of fruit flavors out of the hops. I want to try that again with a different hop, and like we're looking at there might be a spot in the schedule to do it right now. And otherwise, the first beer that I've got coming out that I think right now it's looking like it should be Tuesday, April 18th that it'll come out. It's a cold IPA. That I wanted to do at Lakes, and we just couldn't find space in the schedule to do it. But cold IPA, all Citra, Mosaic, and Amarillo. Just like a nice fruity, little bit of bitter, nice and crisp cold IPA.
Okay. Have you guys done a cold IPA before?
No.
I mean, you've served many cold IPAs. But yeah. Okay. Is that? I mean, so like there's a new thing that's and here's what I know about Kabel, and I told you this when I was like, hey, there's gonna be an application coming your way. Kabel is really into just all of the science and the nerding out about recipes and not only what's selling, but what's happening in the beer world. And I think that is a cool thing to bring in, to have somebody who just like, I mean, you're always telling me about new. I mean, I had to ask you. I did not understand like dip hopping and
I don't think anyone actually understands what dip hopping is.
Yeah, I mean,
they just put it on the label.
I did a little of that in college, but it wasn't beer making. It was a different type of a thing. So I think that's really cool. I don't feel like Wabasha has ever been a place that like I associate with like chasing trends. You've always really been true to yourselves and kind of brew what you want to drink, and I think that's a really smart way to go about it. And I like that just the influx of ideas, and I like cold IPAs. I'm excited to try that. I'll be back for that.
And just on like the chasing trends thing, I'd also posit out there for everyone, like, I am not a trend chaser. That is a hard thing to say.
Yeah.
Trend chaser.
You tried it before I did.
It's more so like I do see these trends, and we've had plenty of talk about all the different trends coming through, but I could give a flying fuck about a trend unless it's something that it comes back to that, like making things that I want to drink.
Yeah.
The cold IPA trend really hit home with me because it's an adjunct lager grain bill, so it's going to be super crisp.
Yeah.
Like, it's like making a lager. You're almost making an IPL, but it's not an IPL. It's just a bit different, and it turned into something that is like, oh shit, I actually really like drinking these. I'm going to follow this trend.
Yeah.
When smoothie sours were a trend, fuck those.
Yeah.
Cold day in hell when I make one.
I don't like
Jason.
See you in December.
I prefer my fruit in whole
He's
form.
hired again.
Yeah, that's not changing. We're going to keep brewing what we want to drink, and I think that's where we have the flexibility, and we run on a lean operating system. We use the Toyota way, the Toyota production system and Toyota Kata, so that we can be nimble and adapt to where the market's at. We can look back at the original acquisition plans where it was lower ABV beers, lager if we have the time to do it.
Yeah.
And it's become that much more of a necessity because that's what I want to drink too, and that's whether that's a trend or not, that we're going to keep brewing what we want to be drinking.
Yeah.
And we see that here in the tap room. Number one beer in the tap room is Mexican lager, Lager del Sol right now. We got a lime sea salt variation coming out on it. That was gone in 3 days when we put it on tap. So we're going to keep brewing what we want to drink. And also, the first thing Kabel came in here and did when he got the job was ask other people what they wanted. He talked to a bunch of the regulars. He's like, what beer would you like to have? And so we got to check bills coming out because that's what the community wanted. So that's how we plan to keep operating. No sweat there.
Okay, well, we're going to take a break now because I've got an empty glass. And when we come back, I want to get more into the conversation about what are the locals clamoring for. And I know you all have an anniversary coming up in the not too distant future, so we'll talk about that as well. So we're going to take a break and get more beers. We'll be right back with this episode of A One Pint Stand at Wabasha Brewing in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Woo!
Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you're enjoying A One Pint Stand. My aim is to help spread the word about craft beer. Enjoying craft beer is a huge passion of mine, and I love chatting about it with other people. A One Pint Stand has a goal of helping breweries tell their stories. I love to get out in and beyond Minnesota to visit breweries, beer bars, and meet other interesting beer people. If you are also into those things, you will probably want to keep tabs on the show. So go ahead and follow A One Pint Stand on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We would also appreciate any and all positive reviews on iTunes or Spotify to help make it easier for other craft beer-minded people to find us. If you like reading about craft beer, I started my own blog, and all of my writing can be found at aonepintstand.com. After writing for 8 years as editor-in-chief at Beer Ploma, it was definitely time for me to start my own thing. So, make sure you check out the blog for some interesting craft beer content of the written variety. Now, back to the show. Okay, we are back. Refreshed.
Yeah, oh sure.
I got a fresh beer. I got a lager
Del Sol.
Del Sol, which means lager of the soul. No, of the sun. Lager of the sun. And
Come on.
it's whale vagina. No. And so we're lucky enough to try. I'm assuming this came out of a freshly pulled tank.
Fresh as the day, Dan. Fresh as the day.
Fresh as the day.
It's a Keller beer.
Right, kind of looks like it. So we get a little sneak peek of Kabel's first beer, the cold IPA, and it's quite refreshing. I like the aroma of it, and I like the balance between the fruitiness and the little bit of bitterness you get in there. It's a very, I think if you're a Wabasha fan, you're going to be really happy with how this beer turns out. Right now, it's tasting good. It's a little cloudy, and hopefully that'll drop out. But if you close your eyes, every beer is clear. So that's the old saying that they have over at the Budweiser. Okay, so before we took our break, we were talking about, what are the locals clamoring for? What are they wanting? I'm sure you get a lot of weird requests for beers to be made.
Yeah, there have been a lot of weird ones already, and I've only been here like 2 months, and I forgot what they are because they went in one year and out the
stop.
other. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to. What was that one that I couldn't even just sit at the bar that one day? That guy you were talking to is the Golden Strong made with a champagne yeast or something like that.
Oh, that's an old. Yeah, I made. Yeah.
The guy just would he kept bringing it up, and I was sitting there trying to do orders and stuff, and eventually I was like, I'm just gonna do this at home because I can't. He's gonna keep talking about it.
I'm drawing a blank right now because he's probably a listener.
He might be.
No, he is.
Oh, really? It's always nice to hear one of the 7 fans chime in.
Well, someone's got to keep you going.
Right,
and
exactly.
Off the top
It's
of my
like
head,
Charles, and then this guy, and 5 other people.
Yeah, and then I've created bot accounts to.
I only listen when I'm on it.
At least you're willing to admit it.
Yeah,
I'm not willing to admit it yet.
That's okay. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff.
What was your question, Dan?
My question is, what have the locals been clamoring for? What are they asking for? I'm assuming you get a lot of lager requests. You said you're going to be brewing a Czech Pilsner.
I'd say the thing that happened the most right off the bat when I started to get comfortable and get my feet under me here and start talking to people about what they wanted and getting to know the regulars. Almost every single person said Czech Pils. I'm like, all right, cool. What else do you want to see? Czech Pils. Okay, I got that. What else? Make a Czech Pils. Okay, I will make you a Czech Pils. What else? Make that. Okay, that's what I heard a lot.
Okay. Well, and lucky for you, you have quite extensive experience with the Czech Pils style.
I've made 1 or 2 in my day.
Yeah. So that's cool. You mentioned that you were trying a lot of different beers and cans to kind of see what was kind of connecting with the market, and then what's selling in the tap room. Did you find that there were a lot of similarities, or was there more of a kind of the folks buying our beer at the liquor store have a certain taste, and the folks coming in to have it on tap are of a different mindset? What was that like?
Probably my biggest learning from year one is that, and I'm glad we get to touch on it. But it's the tap room game is disparate from the retail game, is disparate from the kegs and bar restaurant sales accounts. Draft accounts. So learning what works here and there, having legacy accounts where there's a certain beer that, frankly, I was like, Brett, which beers do you want to get rid of and never brew again? When we first came on here, he's like, these 2, and I'm like, shit, those are on tap at 5-6 different places, right? And they're still buying it. And it's like, all right. So you have to balance out where what the different demand is, what beers can we navigate folks over to if we replace something that is near and dear.
Sure.
And creative destruction is the name of the game there. But biggest lesson learned is that retail cans competing there, and the market shifted. Big time. Middle of COVID, I'm sure it was different pre-COVID. I wasn't around for that, but between the tail end of we got hit with vaccine mandates and lockdowns here in St. Paul, and then so draft was completely dead.
Yeah. Cans
were a different game versus what's selling in the tap room, and so it's been an evolution, and we've got to continually adapt to that moving market. Now, I think that long term is the way we're trying to approach this, and we want that's back to brew what we want to drink, and also after seeing what the market is into, like there's discernible, like we don't need to brew 50 million hazy IPAs. Let's brew a really fucking good hazy IPA, and let's go in some awards with it, because that's ultimately what we're after. And there's some like landmark breweries to me, like Nuclearis, Town Hall, other award-winning breweries. Like I want banners, I want championship belts.
We can make banners.
As the guy that like gets to challenge these guys to like go to the next level, like that's what I'm after. I want awards around this place. Brett won a bunch of awards, like with Westside Popper, with what's now Meta Punch, Mango Implosion, Mango IPA. We've got to be able to continually innovate and operate in those areas that change the game. And I think that Minneapolis, St. Paul in general, we need better lagers. We need good IPAs, and that works for the brewery too.
I think like you're in a close proximity to two places that really set the bar high.
A little tough.
Bad Weather and Waldman both have shown a real ability to just, continually pump out well-made lagers, but also a variety of different styles, some of which are not that common, and I think that's cool. I think
on the other side we got Barrel Theory and Black Stack in St. Paul too, so like game on.
Yeah,
like, that's what I bring back, and I'm like, let's go. Like we need to win tap lines. To go compete out there, we got to beat Supra Deluxe from Modest. We got to be competing with the best of the best.
And that's, God, Supra Deluxe is so good.
We got to compete with the best of the best, man. Let's go. We get one shot at this.
No, we got several shots. Come on now.
Yeah. Do you feel that breweries are in danger of overcorrecting because of COVID? Here's an example. So for 10 years now, Dangerous Man was tap room only, and in the last week they started selling their cans in liquor stores. That has never before happened. I don't know what all went into that, but I have to imagine it was partly due to the new bill that was passed last year that allows breweries to sell up to 128 ounces in any vessel, cans, whatever, in their tap room. But I have to believe that also there's a part of it that was like, when we shut down, it was pretty stressful. Like we need to have another option to get our product into the hands of people. Well, should there ever be another thing like that? Do you think that
is exactly? Speaking Dangerous Man, it like in them as the example, that is exactly what happened. A few months ago, I ran into Rob over at Falling Knife, and he was telling me all about it, why they were building the production facility, why they were going to do cans. It was the shutdown. It was, if it wasn't for crowlers, they would have gone under. They were dipping into personal savings to keep the business going, and so COVID changed it for everybody. But them as a perfect example was just this sucked not having that revenue stream to make sure that we're here after.
Yeah.
So they went and changed their whole idea so that they would be able to have that revenue stream, like barring any awful global pandemic or even smaller thing that puts them out of commission for a while.
I'll second it, and I heard it on a craft malting podcast all about beer today, what they were talking about, and I'm interested in what Brett sees too, because he's been in this industry far longer than I have, but the need for lean, the Toyota way, and what that brings into the brewing industry, where there's few other breweries that are utilizing that as a way of thinking, is actually quite unique. And we don't talk a lot about it externally here, but it's a tremendous advantage to have an operating system, a way of thinking built into the business that provides that adaptability in times where we do get hit by some black swan event. To answer your question, Dan, I don't think people are going to overcorrect, but there's hard times ahead. There's hard times now. There's hard times ahead, and so we got to have high quality products. We got to have. I'm the marketing guy right now, so like we don't have much hope in that area. So like no weight on the shoulders, but like we're a product first company, and that's where we intend to like lead into the future is beer first. It's all about the beer here, and so I don't know. Like, I don't think people will overcorrect from a business strategy standpoint. Maybe there's too much capacity out there existing in like the area, and that's where we see a lot of THC beverages and things being made. But I don't think it's gonna be like intentional that they're overcorrection. It's just gonna be where the market stirring up results into. But what do you see, Brett?
I have to agree with Jason a little bit. I think that one thing about breweries is we just adjust.
Yep.
And that goes before COVID. Like, we just adjust with the market and what's actually happening. Part of the whole thing of us having so many cans out on the shelf right now is honestly kind of like something that's been left over from COVID, right? The bars died, so we went straight into liquor stores because liquor stores were buying like crazy. And so we kind of kept that momentum. And now we're starting to see that start to go back into bars so we can kind of pull back. But the greatest thing about breweries in that sense is we can adjust. So I don't think that in any way that anyone's, no. I'm trying to think of the word. What did you say again? I can't remember the words you used again.
Oh, overcorrecting?
Yeah, I don't think it's overcorrecting at all. It's just adjusting, and we will always readjust. Always.
Yeah.
Because the market changes, laws change,
And that was going to be my next question. Like, since the law changed, have you noticed a change in buying habits of people coming in? Do you... The one big, if you were going to say that there was a big obstacle or an argument against allowing breweries to sell 6-packs and 4-packs out their door, they were like, well, people are going to stop going to liquor stores.
No.
I never thought I thought that was a really just ridiculous argument.
I'm sorry, that's such a laughable thing.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. It's
no volume change.
Yeah.
We sell a tremendous amount of beer via our local liquor stores. We intend to do so. We don't sell a lot of cans in here. We've tried it with a few brands. We sell our barrel-aged beers, but when we tested it with some of our beers, that transition, we're still crowler first. Now, we just got into crowlers in November 2021 too. So or July. You guys has
July.
So we had just gotten into more of that to-go game and how that would actually all work out. Not all that recently. So the cans have not had the impact there. The bigger impact on the industry is, I think, is we're talking about laws and regulations. It's just THC beverages and how that has changed people's plans, capacity utilization, and who's brewing what. Seltzers, RTDs, THC, non-beer, NA beer, all that stuff has definitely had a bigger effect than the can law.
And there's such a demand for that, and beyond beer, there's so many different things. And I know, they're talking about a bill right now, or they're trying to come up with a bill that kind of attempts to regulate that a little bit. Are they still? Kabel. We should also say that Kabel is involved pretty substantially with the Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild. Do you want to talk a little bit about your role in the guild and kind of what you do with that? I know you've kind of got your finger on the pulse of a lot of the legislative stuff that's happening.
Yeah, so I'm also, aside from stuff with Wabasha and whatnot, I'm also on the board of directors for the Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild. Basically, I'm just part of a team that tries to help guide the craft beer scene and help the people and not the people who are a part of the guild, or the breweries that are a part of the guild and the breweries that aren't, really help them along and do whatever we can to help. So legislative stuff right now, the big thing on our docket, after the 4-pack bill passed last year, we have a handshake agreement that we can't do anything about, or we can't push forward on beer and alcohol-centric laws. But what we can do still is work on defending the rights that we already, as breweries, we already have.
Okay.
So the bill that's going through right now, HF 100, is the legalization bill.
Yeah.
Has a lot of there. We have a legislative arm of the guild that is helping to set that up and reframe that bill so it doesn't infringe upon any rights that breweries already have.
Okay.
And we're part of a large coalition that's doing that. So as it stands, like there's a lot of changes happening to it to make sure that we don't lose rights as breweries.
Okay. So speaking specifically about Beyond Beer, wasn't there language that they were kind of like talking about that would make it so that if breweries wanted to continue to produce THC beverages and different things like that, they would have to have a separate facility to do that?
Yes, my understanding was that was a part of it, but I believe as of right now, admittedly, I'm not as up to date as I should be at the moment. But I believe that language has been scrubbed from the bill and it has been replaced with better language.
Okay.
And it's now more of like allowing us to still be able to do it, but there are going to be restrictions and certain licensing that we're going to have to get in order to do it, but we will be able to produce it.
Okay, because that would essentially kill.
Yeah, because it would
all
change.
but a handful of breweries that have the resources to do that or already have a separate facility.
Yeah.
When I heard that for the first time, I was like, why? There's a good thing going. I mean, from a state perspective, you're getting the tax revenue. I mean, places are selling
They didn't tax it.
Stuff.
They didn't tax it.
Yeah,
at
that's
the
part of
state
the problem is it wasn't taxed initially. So that whole thing, it was snuck through on another bill
How the
last
fuck is
year.
that your fault? That's not.
Yeah,
So,
so,
like-
so tax it, but leave the manufacturing base. And this is something I talked about with our local state rep, where it was like, you don't want this going to cottage industry or to out-of-state money that wants to buy up territory and bring this in. You have the brewery capability already built in. We've been demonstrating the capability to manufacture this under regulations that don't even exist, but we still maintain doing it, testing every batch, and doing the things we need to do.
Yeah.
Leave it here and trust that this will become a highly taxable, revenue-generating part of the industry. And that it's been such a boon for many players in the industry. I think it's super important that we maintain that capability. You don't want to regulate something out of place where it's demonstrated the ability to do it effectively.
Right.
So
Yeah, but it's a drug.
It's really
so
good.
they're gonna,
So you started in 2015.
Yep.
So this would be the 8th anniversary.
Yeah. This will be the 8th.
Okay. Are there what do you have planned? I know Kabel's beer is, or not Kabel's beer is the IPA that he. It is. Yeah, your recipe, your cold IPA is coming
Kabel
out
beer.
on the 18th. Correct? Is that what we said?
that is currently the plan.
Okay.
we've got Brett's last beer on tap right now.
Okay. Which was?
Chit Chat Wit, Belgium.
Oh yeah, I had that first. That was
Yeah.
good.
Well, hang on a minute.
God, here we go.
I made the beer recipe. Kabel delivered it.
Okay.
So I actually, that was kind of during the training process.
Yes.
So what's-
I've been
what's
telling
your
people it's
actual
like a
last
half
beer?
and half.
Yeah.
What was the last beer you brewed?
That's on right
Vision
now?
Quest.
For those of you who
2023.
can't
Let's see. The
He
first
is
thing
now
I
on the
did
floor in
was
the Zen pose.
Lager del Sol,
He's
and then I
trying
did
to
Soma
levitate a bar stool.
and Radical.
Do it
So I think the last thing you fully brewed would have been before I started.
So Hoarfrost?
Yeah, probably Horrorfrost.
What did you call me?
Hoarfrost Bonnet, Pub Ale?
Yeah, I didn't
Soma?
make any of those.
Did you make Soma?
No, I did.
He did. Belgian Tripel.
Set and setting, you did.
So I've got like 60 to 70% on the menu. I'm getting phased out every week.
I think you're kind of phasing out right now. So speaking of, your new role. Hey, we see the two ships passing in the night from the brewing, the passing of the metaphorical mash paddle. Now, what are you going to be doing with your days?
More.
Here, what is it going to be R&D? Is it going to be just are you going to get watch the Queen's Gambit,
that?
get really into chess. What's
that beer you keep saying you're gonna make and bring back here?
He's brewing in his garage.
Yeah.
Selling it in the parking lot.
So
Hi, I'm a gypsy brewer, Shabawa. Try this new ale.
honestly, what I'm going to be doing is whatever I want. I'm going to be monitoring and
You can tell he's making up what he's gonna do right
know.
now.
I'm not gonna be not involved with Wabasha. I'm involved.
You sound like you're running for public office. I'm not going to be not involved. I did not dry hop that tank with Citra.
So currently, honestly, I've taken just a few weeks off just to kind of get my brain in gear, trying to figure out exactly my next move.
Yep.
I know my role will be here.
Yes.
So for anyone listening, I'm not going away.
He's not going away.
I just took
We're just hiding him.
I just took like a little bit of a
Where's
month
Waldo?
break here, and then we're gonna kind of reevaluate as soon
Okay.
as I get back from my Alaska trip or whatever. We're gonna
Yeah. Now, how long are you going to be in Alaska?
just a week,
Okay.
but yeah.
Well, I always need help cleaning kegs, so
Cool.
Brett's face is not enthused. He is not excited about that.
Speaks to the effectiveness of our training program.
Brett is now brandishing a lead pipe, and he's going to give Kabel the old what for.
I feel like last time
Well,
I was
yeah,
on this podcast, you said someone was brandishing something at me as well.
Baseball bat.
I have that personality.
Okay,
Baseball bat.
there is 3 constants in life: death, taxes, and somebody's going to brandish something on an episode of a One Pint Stand. We all know that.
But to answer your question anyway, my role is yet to be decided as far as like exactly where I'm gonna lay. But like I said, I just needed to take a little break.
Yeah. Well, it's well deserved.
Well, and part of it was to let Kabel do his thing because I didn't want him to think that I'm standing over his shoulder. So
I think that would have been really good, though. I think that would have made for some. Jason, you talk about marketing. You could have done a bunch of TikToks of like Kabel, and then just like you could have worn a tuxedo, Brett, and you could have just stood there like behind him, awkwardly close, like breathing in his ears, like, "Are you sure you wanna?
Are you sure you wanna
dump
be
those
doing
in
that?"
now? Did you check your water temp?
It reminds me of like the manufacturing facilities I worked in where they have like a second deck.
Yeah.
And like the corporate executive team sits up there and they all have like windows over the production facility. So what we did for Brett when he departed was we hooked up the security cameras. And he's got a new iPhone with a like suede coating here.
Yeah, that is absolutely
And so,
not velvet.
In between his driving, he tells me that he spends a lot of time just supervising via the remote cameras, and
I spend a lot of time not listening.
And that's not creepy at all. Well, that's okay.
Like Wizard of the Oz shit.
That's cool. That's cool. I thought you were going to say you kind of rigged up like a Mission Impossible thing, kind of like a pulley system, so he can kind of like levitate literally above all the action.
We don't know what I built over the years.
Yeah. Well, I think it's. I think your vacation and your kind of like new role is well deserved.
Absolutely.
You've been here from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's thriving, and it'll continue to thrive. So that's exciting. Well, I think it's really awesome that you were able to do that for your own like sanity and well-being. I think that's really important. I mean, Jason mentioned burnout earlier. I think that burnout is real, and I wish more companies would allow and have an understanding of like what that does to a person.
Right.
And so like being able to like still be involved and step back, the best of both worlds. And I'm also really excited that Kabel is on board because I've known Kabel for many years, and Kabel, you are a talented brewer, and you are passionate about it, and you also, I don't think there's a decision that you make that doesn't like lead with your heart and your conviction. So I think that's going to benefit everybody here. It's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit Jason. It's going to benefit the locals. It's going to benefit people buying beer off the shelves who have maybe not ever set foot in this space. And I think that's a really good thing. I think, when you bring in good people, that energy infuses itself in the beverage that you're serving. And so I think it's going to be very exciting for people to continue to enjoy what you've created in the last 8 years here. I mean, hell, 8 years ago, it was up. The tap room was up there. It was basically like, oh wow, this is like very cozy.
Yeah.
And now you've got this beautiful tap room that I feel kind of reminds me of a bar you'd find in Manhattan. Kind of like the long kind of galley kitchen tap room, and it's just got so much character. And so I'm excited about the 8th anniversary. I'm excited about Kabel, you being a head brewer for the first time in your career. That's very exciting. And Jason, I'm excited for you. So you're going on what, about just under 2 years of owning? Yeah, year and a half of owning. Yeah, because we sat down about a year ago.
It was, what, do we say October or November?
November.
November 21st?
Yeah.
We were looking at the podcast earlier, and there was an exact date on it.
Yeah, Wayland found it. He's like, what is this?
Yeah. This is something you don't want to listen to while you're driving because it'll put you right to sleep.
New team member found the dirty laundry.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, that's very exciting. So, now, Brett, do you want to,
take it home.
You've got, do you have any? Now Brett will sing for us.
Sing me a song.
Yeah, so we've got, are there any brews, any recipes that you're like, oh, we never did this one? Is there anything like you're going to like give to Kabel as like, here,
So
I'm going to give you this beer recipe.
kind of funny.
Here we go.
I don't like where this is going.
I'm
Garage
actually
project.
I'm starting one of the most extensive barrel programs in my house currently. Probably.
What does that even mean?
I've dedicated a room to this. I'm remodeling it currently, and I'm going to have one of the, as far as I've gone home brewer pro back to home brewer.
Okay.
I've got some pretty crazy shit coming out of my basement, so you'll have to come over.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to...
So things that I wish we would have done, no, I'm still going to do them.
The oyster stout. Top, dude.
Yeah.
Oyster stout. Come
That
on.
other one, the cake one or whatever that you kept bringing up.
Yeah. We'll see how that one goes.
It's so secretive we can't even mention it on the podcast.
I like it. It's a good teaser.
But yeah,
It's a good teaser.
I've been fighting from my old business partner to my new business partner about this crazy oyster stout.
Okay. Now, you have quite the story
I'm
about
making
eating
that.
oysters. I remember you telling me when you went to like North Carolina and
No,
it's South Africa.
Africa.
Yeah, South
Yeah.
Africa when you were...
That is a very far distance there, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in
Well,
South
I'm not a
Africa.
fucking geography teacher. I'm an English teacher. Back off.
You want me to tell the story?
Well, I mean, so was that like the inspiration? Where does it? Because the oyster stout is very kind of like niche, even under the stout like umbrella. You know,
Not in Norway.
It's niche even for a niche beer.
I suppose in Norway. Back to your roots, I suppose.
So, yeah. I don't know where do you want me to go with it?
Wherever you want to go with it. Oyster stout.
Let me put it this way. I've always been shut down.
Okay.
And when it comes out, it's going to come out to just a limited amount of people in my house.
Okay.
Jason will be invited so I can prove him wrong.
I like it. And then
Whenever we had room in the brewing schedule, and I'd be like, "What do you want to do?" Brewer's choice. He's like, "Oyster stout." I'm like, I cannot sell an oyster stout right now, but we can do an oyster
especially
stout.
not with that attitude. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is shit.
Okay.
This is my shit
Oyster
attitude.
stouts are they're a little bit briny,
Yeah.
but they're super clean. But also, people get freaked out by them.
Oh yeah.
They're
So
smooth.
the whole
as hell.
shellfish allergy, I suppose, is part of it. But yeah,
How dare you bring that up?
I've only had one oyster stout ever, and it was a little bit more briny and slightly metallic tasting, but
Yeah.
it was good. It didn't weird me out. I didn't run for the hills, but
That metallic will go away as you let them sit.
okay.
So I'll probably end up barrel aging it, let it sit for like a year.
Yeah. Who is it, like Forager? They have got like five gallon barrels. Yeah, they have like a bunch of like different varying size barrels.
Yeah.
That's basically what's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
In his basement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to try that. I hope I get an invite to the unveiling. That'll be fun. We could do a live. We'll do a live Instagram live. We'll call it Mother Shucker. Get the oyster stout going.
I'm in.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. Well, I want to thank you all for this wonderful. We always have so much fun.
We do.
Chatting. I love coming down here. We always, and Kabel knows. Kabel is a talker.
We're going out on oyster stout.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to be,
shit.
sorry, we're going out on oyster
don't
stout.
know.
Sorry to break it to you, Jason. We're actually going to be an oyster stout brewery now. I've been hiding it until just this moment.
We have
No.
Pilsner up on the
We've
board.
been working together
It's an oyster
secretly.
pilsner.
We've been working together secretly.
Yeah. This is
Oyster
the
rye,
new vision.
oyster tequila popper.
Yeah.
We're good.
Tequila popper and the Kraken oyster stout. It's going to be great. So come on down April 18th to celebrate 8 years of Wabasha Brewing, and you can also taste Kabel's first beer that he's brewed that's releasing to the public. Do you have a name for it? Is it just cold IPA?
We be here now. That's it.
Be here now. That's right. You mentioned
That's-
that. Okay. And Brett,
yeah.
Brett is off to the what do they call Alaska? Other than Alaska, yeah, the Great North, the gateway to Russia. Are you gonna go say hi to?
You know, actually, real bumps me out. I have to get on this.
Okay, here we
His
go.
first beer being released, and then my last being released, and I'm out of town.
Well,
You're just gonna have to come back.
Yeah.
That's just poor planning on
We'll give you a free
someone's
pint card so you can come back the next time.
Yeah, do we have beer tokens?
Too soon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, Dan, for coming down.
Yeah, man, we love you, Dan.
Yeah, I love
Minnesota
coming
Beer Podcast, dude. This guy's doing it right here. Like, we need more of this. Like, I'm getting on the soapbox, but you do an amazing job, Dan. Thanks for coming out here, having fun. But really, it takes folks like you. The Minnesota beer scene is so healthy. I'm a beer geek first, and like brewery owner second. This is the time to be alive. So, like, thank you for being here, and thank you for doing this.
my
we appreciate
pleasure.
you too.
My pleasure. So this has been another really fun episode of a One Pint Stand.
It was all right.
Oh God! Shut up! I'm gonna punch him in the balls.
Oh, do that. I want to hear it on. I want to hear it through the headset.
Right in the grain bags. So this has been another on-location episode of a One Pint Stand. Cheers. As you can tell, I had a great time chatting with Brett, Jason, and Kabel. From the transition into a more innovation and research and development role for Brett to taking the head brewing reins for Kabel, the Wabasha crew had a lot to say. I also love the energy that Jason has brought to Wabasha in just a very short time, a year and a half since he took over ownership. He just turns into a giddy schoolboy when we talk about craft beer, and I love that energy. I'm happy that Wabasha has been able to provide the west side of St. Paul, which prior to Wabasha coming on the scene was a craft beer desert. They are providing the West Siders with quality beers and a really cozy place to feel welcome as they enjoy community and craft beer. Reminder, our next episode will be at Hackamore Brewing in Chanhassen at their soft opening. I'm excited to sit down with Zach, Jake, Nick, and Tom to taste the beers and see the new brewery as it gets set to open to the public. So tell all your beer geek friends that if they're not following a One Pint Stand, they're missing out on some good conversation and laughs. Until next time, I'm Dan Bobian, and you are listening to a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast where the pants stay on, but the caps come off. Cheers.
Let's just see if I'm just like a fucking blowhard and I'm just pulling shit out of thin air.
Why are you smiling so much, Dan?
Speaking of
It's because I'm a little bit of a blowhard.
check the. Speaking of blowhard, now's a good chance to talk about our sponsor. Fine folks.
Well, last time it was Hoover. Who's it this time?
Dan's Fan City.
Oh, God.